This is Horribly Off Topic, episode number 261. I'm Chris.
I liked it. I'm Steve. I liked it when you said from, like, can we say from something before?
From something.
Because it's just weird when you just say this is horribly off topic.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, I did it last week and fucked up. Or was it last week, the Wahoo, Nebraska? Yes, because I said Nebraska.
Oh, yes.
So, I mean,
I was wondering how you were going to spell that, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, we should say we're from someplace. I mean, from
the mouse-infested home of Steve. No.
Are they? Is it? Would you call it an infestation at this point?
I've only ever seen one.
Okay.
And it's currently dead. So
what is the geez, what's the expression? It's you see. Oh no, it's a Patton Oswalt bit. You see one, there's a million, or whatever it is. It's his bit on his wife seeing a rat in their backyard, and he doesn't believe her, and then he sees it, and the hawk swoops down and gets the rat and caw.
We used to have hawks in the backyard. I loved them.
Yeah, but well, you want to invite them into your basement? I mean, maybe they'll take care of the.
Yeah, I'm sure that won't cause any sort of fucking problem.
I'm sure people have done that as an
It's a circle of life, like birds flying around your basement.
I think I'm gonna put that down as an early contender for
birds flying around your basement.
Birds flying around your basement. So Steve,
I don't want to invite them in now because I don't want them eating perhaps poisoned mice.
Oh right, because you like the hawks.
Yeah, hawks are cool.
The very first episode of our podcast,
although one of them was fucking with me,
was fucking with, not fucking another hawk. No, fucking with you.
He
was messing with you.
Yeah, I was leaving the house one day. It was, I think it was when I first started at the job before I had now. Mm-hmm. Or no. No, it was when we first moved here.
Okay,
because I had already.
Oh, so it was like a welcoming thing. It was welcome to the neighborhood.
I was walking to the train station because it was a particularly nice day, and I was leaving early enough. So I'm like, and it was not this time of year. Mm-hmm. Because it was already kind of getting light out.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas, right now it's dark until, I get to work. And then when I leave, it's dark.
Dark again. Oh, the joys of commuting into the city.
Yeah.
But so the hawk,
he was like sitting on the power lines by where my street intersects the street that the address is technically on.
Okay. Yep.
And he started blah blah at me, and I'm like, what the fuck? What am I doing?
He heard that you wanted to know where your hawk sound was.
Yeah.
There's a callback for you.
Yeah, he listened to episode 1. He's like, here's your fucking hawk sound.
That's interesting. And he had never fucked with you again.
Well, he wasn't. I mean, I think he spent most of his time, or she. I don't know what the gender of this particular hawk was, but yeah, I think whatever. I think there's more than
fucks with the neighbors.
There might have been more than one of them, and I think they hung out in our like backyard area.
Yeah. Well, and so maybe one of them flew away and didn't come back. Like decided to hang out in the south or something, and so now the hawk, doesn't have his buddy or her buddy to play riff off of, and maybe they just don't feel so funny anymore.
And they just don't what?
I don't know. Somewhere in there was an anecdote or something about how the two of us are like hawks. We have a great relationship, but you might be okay and might still be funny without me. In fact, you would probably be funnier, but me without you would not.
Chris, don't put yourself down. I'm sure you'd be very funny on your own. I've heard the 10-second clips you use when we go on vacation or whatever, and they're very funny.
Yeah, I'm glad they're not meant to be, but
okay, you weren't trying.
I don't think I was trying. Maybe I was trying. I don't even remember them.
I don't either.
I got a bit of follow up for you.
Oh, you do?
I got a little bit of follow up. So. The
well, to finish the hawk.
Oh, the hawk story.
Hawk
yes.
talk.
Hawk. I'm put it down. Hawk. I can't even spell hawk. Hawk.
HAWK.
It just became HALK. Hawk talk.
Hawk.
Hawk. All right. So the hawk.
I think they might have moved someplace else because like
okay.
you know if the Hawks had stayed in our backyard area, then it's doubtful or less likely that there would be mice in the general area.
Oh, right, because the Hawks would have been taking care of that shit.
Right.
Oh man, you got to hire some new Hawks.
Yes.
I don't know. How do you? I mean, I imagine there's a way to hire a hawk. You got to find the right kind of
falconer.
I guess a falconer would work. But I don't know. I mean, is there a kind of birdhouse that's specific to birds of prey?
I think there's one in your soul.
Is it blue?
Well, I actually like. I want to get, and I was talking to Becky about this because we were listening to that recently, and I was like, I want to get a nightlight.
Yeah. That
has a blue canary.
Oh, I think that would be cool. I think it would be a very, very nice nightlight. I mean, I imagine that they've got to be out there, and if they might be giants were more like I was gonna slag on Pearl Jam. If they might be giants were more of a
as opposed to Pearl Jam sliding onto you.
I know. I was gonna say if they were more corporate minded, then maybe they would have on their website a nightlight.
I think they sell T-shirts and shit, like band shit. So that would be actually something legit great that they could market.
I that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, all bands have merch, but that would
I think that would be like above board, super awesome merch.
I think you're right.
If I went to it's been, I think the last time I went was when I went with a fan of the show, Brian, back in college, and we met Cornmo. And he got his fuck dumb shit autograph like he did on almost everything that he got autographs on in college.
Nice.
In a tribute to Busta Rhymes. I think that was the last time I went to see They Might Be Giants was probably 2004 maybe. I'm thinking 3 or 4.
Yeah.
At the time.
At the time, nightlights were more expensive, so they couldn't possibly.
What the fuck was the House of Blues before? Avalon.
Avalon.
Yeah. So it was at the Avalon, which is getting local for you.
Getting real local for you.
Across the street from Fenway Park.
Fenway Park. Smart Park.
Oh God. Does that transition into our Super Bowl ad talk?
No, I don't think we need to talk about Super Bowl ads. We could talk about the fact that now that we've had another Sexy Time halftime show, we're going to get a bunch of old men rock bands for another 5 or 10 years before they allow another woman on stage, because God forbid,
I think we didn't watch the halftime show. We changed.
I watched it later.
We changed it to the puppies, the Animal Planet puppies running around and playing, which is, I mean,
a far
I don't mind experience. Shakira or it was J-Lo. I don't mind those two, but I would rather watch puppies.
I don't blame you. I didn't even watch the game at all. I watched the halftime show as a YouTube clip 2 or 3 days later because I wanted to see
what the whole hubbub.
And
I
240 actually late 40s for Shakira, 50-year-old J-Lo, still shaking what their mama gave them.
I put a video on Facebook. Well, I just linked a YouTube video on Facebook. After it was over, I was watching the rest of the game while Becky had already gone to bed.
Yeah.
And there was the clip of Shakira and Danzig
doing like a tongue.
It was Hips Don't Lie, and they just spliced basically. It was the music video for that, and then they kept on splicing bits of Danzig. It wasn't actually Danzig singing it, but he'd be like, and she would be like, "I want to go dance like this," and he'd be like, "Oh!" And he was like, Danzig's running around with fucking wolves, and Mick Danzig want to speak Spanish. Burrito, Robert De Niro, or some fucking nonsense. It's really great. And it's
Danzig and
it's the earlier days of YouTube, so it's I know that
fun days of YouTube.
It's like when there wasn't like a shit ton of videos, you would run across shit like this, and be like, because you look at the view count, it's a reasonable amount, but then you look how long it's been on there, it's like, oh, fucking how many years has YouTube been around? Like,
gosh, is it 10, 15? No,
I think 15 at
15,
least.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think that one had like was 11 years old. So, and I'm like, yeah. So I just put that up, and a couple of people were like, "What?"
Understandably so. Maybe not everybody knows who Danzig is.
I don't.
Except your mother, father. You want to bang hands with me?
Moldo. I was trying to explain Danzig to Becky. The guy that sang "Mother"? Nope.
Oh, he was huge at the Roller Kingdom on Metal Night back in the 1993-1994.
Yeah, I mean that was he was what was it? Was he in the Misfits, or was that something else?
Yes, I think he was in the Misfits. Okay. But he was well into his solo career.
By the time we were aware of his presence.
Mm-hmm. And I always got the impression
we should just turn this into the Glenn Danzig cast. See if we can get him on. I'll call. I'll call his agent.
The Glenn with two N's. Just make sure you the Glenn Danzig cast. No, I always got the impression that there were, because the people that I ended up hanging around with at Metal Night at the Roller Kingdom, not to get too local for you, but the Roller Kingdom was a roller rink on Friday.
It still is.
Still is. On Friday nights back in the day, you
would go roller skating as a teenager and then go to the strip club next door.
No one would roller skate. It was Metal Night.
Oh, yeah.
So you would go and you'd hang out in your leather jackets, or I didn't have a
trench coats.
Yeah, and you might play
before trench coats were like, this was like you were wearing a trench coat because you were like, oh, I watched Kevin Smith movies, so he wears that, I'll wear that. And then this was
I watched the Highlander.
This was or Highlander or something like that. And then this was pre Columbine. So just so you know, we weren't we weren't fucking doing shit like that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe some people roller skated, but most of the people that I knew did not roller skate. And basically, we sat there at the food court, and ate French fries and listened to metal music. And I happened to be friendly with people who were very snobby about their music. So when the DJ would play more recent Metallica, they would get mad and go over and ask him to play anything prior to the Black Album. Or with Danzig, if they played Mother, they would go over and they'd say, play X, Y, and Z. And I don't remember any of those.
You mean Rush?
They might have asked for Rush. I don't know. Rush is prog rock. It doesn't really count as metal.
Yeah, no. I think they may have won, or no. That was like Jethro Tull or something.
Yes,
like that.
Jethro Tull did win Best Metal Performance one year.
Yeah, and people were like, huh?
Well, it was like Nine Inch Nails won Best Metal Performance one year, and they're not a metal band by any stretch of the imagination.
I mean, I think because of alternative music, and there's been like, if you go back to a Jethro Tull or a Rush or whatever, like there's been alternative to like whatever has been mainstream.
Exactly. Like, and they just didn't have a place.
I mean, those artists have kind of morphed into like things that people are aware of. But I imagine when they first came out, like
I watched speaking of Nine Inch Nails and people becoming aware of things.
I first became aware of this about 6 years ago when my oldest boy, Bill Jr., died. You know that carnival that comes through town every year? Well, this year it came through with a ride called the Mixer. I'll let you go.
No, I had earmarked for a while. I'd watched most of the first season of Black Mirror, and I'd always been meaning to get back to the rest of it. And I'd heard about this episode with Miley Cyrus that somehow tied into Nine Inch Nails, and I was like, how, what? And yesterday I came back I had to work 2/3 of a Saturday, which was all kinds of fun.
Did you come in like a wrecking ball
I did
into
not.
the house?
I did not. No, but I came home and I was looking for something to watch, and I said, I don't want to watch a whole movie, but like an hour-long TV show I'm maybe in the mood for. So I dug up, and I was in between seasons of The Deuce, which is kind of the series that I'm watching at the moment.
Is that like the prequel to, or no, the postquel? It's
No.
a Deuce Bigelow.
No, it's an HBO series about the rise of the pornography industry in the 70s and 80s.
Oh, I thought it was about like male gigolo.
No, no, no. But so
That Rob Schneider.
Oh, that's the American Treasure.
I remember going to see that like in the theater.
American Treasure.
And this was like I like shitty movies.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the refined palette that I do now for my shitty movies.
Right.
Like,
so at this point, any shitty movie, regardless of its level of shittiness.
well, I think the series, and I think we've talked about this before, the series that shocked me out of these just plain shitty movies.
Yeah.
With absolutely no heart or absolutely. Like when it's like not even so bad it's good kind of shitty.
Yeah.
When like after like Scary Movie 2, like that chunk
Yep.
of just bad spoofs.
Mm-hmm.
That weren't even spoofs at a certain point. It was just like, this is pop culture thing now.
Yeah.
Here is this thing.
Laugh at it.
I mean, people criticize Family Guy for that, and I think there's a little bit more writing to Family Guy than just saying, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think that might have been, some of their jokes sometimes, but like they they're more than that.
Yeah.
I think that was South Park's criticism, and I'm like, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's no mid '90s Simpsons.
No. But you were
I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about.
we got horribly off topic.
Leo might still be in town, so if you did do the thing, he might have to throat punch you.
He'd have to find me first.
I'll tell him exactly what your address is.
No, you were talking about parody. What shocked you
Oh,
out
yeah.
of bad movies?
But like I would rent shit like Biodome and and people would be like, Steve's not allowed to rent movies because all he rents is shitty movies. And I'm like, I like shitty movies. They're fun. It's fun to make fun of shitty movies.
Yeah.
When they're dumb, not when they're just so fucking bad it hurts.
See, I feel that way about shitty movies just in general. Like if it misses the mark for me, it's painful.
I have Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 on our Amazon queue.
Yeah.
And I want to watch it. And Becky's never in the mood to watch it. So I'm if she's going to be a little while after
we're done and before
I might just watch it, because like that is one of those just really bad movies that's really great. And it's the one that has the famous "It's garbage day" line. Because like the guy who's the killer in it is just, there's a guy taking out his garbage.
Yeah.
And he just puts the barrel down on the side of the street or whatever, and he delivers that line and starts shooting him.
All right.
And then he's just
now I understand why you want to watch it.
That's the kind, like that kind of bonkers nonsense,
right?
And like things like I always go back to The Room as an example, but it's a great example.
Yeah. Well, not to try too directly to tie everything back together, but the movie, I think I've already done this transition. The movie about The Room.
The Disaster Artist.
There's
the poster right there.
Starring, we have definitely done this one before because the same fucking thing is happening. Where we couldn't.
We're stuck in a time loop.
Where we couldn't remember the star of the Disaster Artist's name. That fellow. Whose name is is what the hell? It's right on the tip of my tongue. I can't. It's like
Gabriel Iglesias.
Yeah, Gabriel Iglesias. He stars in The Deuce.
We're just pretending to not know it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's James T. Kirk.
James Franco is who you're thinking.
I was trying to keep pretending. Yeah, so James Franco, who is in The Disaster Artist, which is about The Room, he is one of the leads of The Deuce, which is the show that I've been watching. But I didn't want to watch yesterday because the between the second and third seasons, it skips from 1978 to the mid 80s, as I understand it. And I was like,
in the midst of like the home video era.
Yeah, the final episode of the second season, or maybe the penultimate episode of the second season, we saw one of the guys bring in a VHS tape and show, what the potential was, and talk about they were only going to cost $1,000, shit like that. And people are like, are they going to pay that? And he's like, to jerk off to porn in the privacy of their own home? Yes, they're going to pay. At any rate, so
how's the smut business, Jackie?
I did not want to watch that, so I watched Black Mirror, and it was quite a good episode. It was it's the name of the pop star in the episode that Miley Cyrus is playing is Ashley O, and she does these just wonderfully subversive, not quite covers, but and they're not really Weird Al. They're not parodies either of 2 Nine Inch Nails songs. So she is being presented as this completely manufactured pop star when we first see her, and the song that she's singing is essentially like a top 40 radio version of Head Like a Hole by Nine Inch Nails, but you would never know it because the lyrics have been changed. I don't know if they've changed the key, but they've definitely made it
was
sound.
Trent Reznor like the music director for that particular show?
They got his permission. I don't know if he was actively involved, but way
I know there's a show recently that he was the
Watchmen.
The Watchmen.
Watchmen. He did the and he's done other ones. He and his musical partner Atticus Ross do a lot of soundtrack work. But Watchmen is probably the one.
Yeah. So I remember it now. Yeah.
So anyway, so he was. They got his blessing, and there's another fantastic song of his that they end up playing with, and she is implied to be sort of coming out of this drug haze that her managers have put her in, and she starts playing the authentic Nine Inch Nails version of this song on her piano. But by the end of the episode, they have taken that and with like some freaky computer shit, which is kind of like just near futuristic, turn it into a pop song, and then the episode decent enough ends with Miley Cyrus doing a like hard rock cover of Head Like a Hole by Nine Inch Nails. Now I went on the internet last night. I went on to Apple Music. I can listen to the pop versions of the songs, but I can't find a legit version that I can just add to Apple Music or Spotify or whatever of the song I most want, which is Miley Cyrus doing a cover of Head Like a Hole. I thought it was a grand little experiment.
Have you heard the Devo cover of that? Or no, was it Head Like a Hole? It might have been that. It might
be.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's been a while.
I think that was on the one of the.
What? And When Pigs Fly? No.
No, it was on a soundtrack. It was on a soundtrack for a Jackie Chan movie, I think.
Oh, okay. There was an.
I think it might have been Super Cop.
Maybe. I'll have to look it up. I won't subject everyone to my typing.
Please don't.
Yeah. At any rate, why did I bring that up?
I don't know. Well, we were going to talk about fast food.
We were going to talk about we were going to talk about a little follow up from last week.
Follow up to fast food.
Follow up to fast food. So last week, people may recall, I went to the McDonald's in Westford, Massachusetts on my way over here to Steve's, and I complained about the lack of a Coca-Cola Freestyle machine. And exactly. And we talked a little bit about, Coca-Cola and McDonald's and who makes those decisions and blah, blah, blah. At any rate, so the reason
tune into last week's show if you want to listen to it.
horriblyofftopic.com/260.
What's this one then?
261.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, so I went back. Should I admit that I also went back midweek this week?
Chris,
All right. So anyway,
do we need to have a McDonald's intervention?
I mean, I'm going to meet with
You're not 20 years old anymore.
I'm going to meet with my nutritionist on, I meet my therapist on Tuesday. I'm a nutritionist on Friday, and I'm sure to be feeling 100% terrible about myself between those two things. So you don't need to worry about shaming me. I am already ashamed.
Okay. Well, I worry about you because it's you know, I after a night of drinking, I understand, but you don't drink.
I don't drink. No, my vices are fat and sugar.
Well, just cut out the sugar part.
So I went back. At some point, I was in transit, and my schedule was not allowing for whatever. So I stopped there middle of this week, and their soda machine was still broken. I was like, did it break again, or is it still broken from last Sunday? Well, today I got the answer because I stopped in on the way over here to get myself a completely customized chicken sandwich, which was delicious.
How I want to hear all the fixins.
Well, so I took off. I think whatever their standard stuff is, I took it off. So there's a bun, chicken, bacon, cheese.
Is it grilled or
crispy?
Crispy chicken.
Yeah, crispy chicken. So bacon, cheese, chicken, ketchup, mayo, and pickles. It's amazing.
I don't know about. I've never been a ketchup person.
Oh gosh, I'm such a ketchup person.
Like, I mean, like back when we were still eating macaroni and cheese, we would, Becky would put ketchup on it, and I'd be like, "This is fucking blasphemy." But I put hot sauce on it.
What I would agree with
in a not Hillary Clinton way.
A well done thing of mac and cheese does not need anything except So I tend to only put ketchup on mac and cheese if it's kind of it's like serviceable mac and cheese that you kind of make as a side dish.
What I used to do was I would take one drop of my Dave's Insanity sauce.
Okay.
And I would put that into the goo mixture.
Oh, okay.
And then that would I wouldn't have to put any hot sauce on it because
just enough kick.
Oh no, it was
more than
enough. Well, for the average person, way more than enough. For me, it was like, oh boy. If I accidentally put 2 drops in, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, I went into McDonald's today, and this part I was happy about. They actually put out of order signs on both of their soda machines. And it is, as far as I could tell from the other day, it is because their carbonator is broken. And I'm just like...
Is that like a carburetor?
Well,
it looks like it's your carburetor. It's going to take, I guess, a week. It's going to be about 1,500 large.
Somehow I'm in a carburetor versus carbonator. I'm going to put both those down there. Somehow that's going to make it into the description, I think.
Okay.
So at any rate, yeah, their carbonator is out, so they still can't serve soda. And
did you have to get like a bottle of something?
Well, so what I ended up doing was I stopped by the convenience store and I got myself a soda there.
A big gulp?
No. I got myself. They were selling two for cheaper, so I got myself the regular Diet Coke for the ride here, and then a caffeine-free Diet Coke for the ride home because I don't do caffeine after 3:00.
Oh, okay.
So it's should be all good. I did do caffeine after 3:00 a couple of times when I was on vacation.
All you ever wanted? Blah 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 blah.
Well, so we got about half an hour left in our program today, Steve. I think this
somehow managed to talk about a bunch of nothing.
But I think half an hour might be a good place to start with. Maybe we could talk about my vacation, which is now a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
I mean, people have been waiting.
We've gotten so many emails.
When the fuck are you fuckers going to email us again? I just want to know, because emails, not that we would have them every week, but emails were a central part of our program for a very long time.
Yeah, we would get them pretty consistently, like,
Yeah.
you know, if not once a week, like once every other.
Yeah, and we haven't had shit for a long time. It's so, I don't know.
You change the email address on
The,
everybody.
the old email address still works.
Yes, we
hot
did.
at clarkwoods.com or hot at horriblyofftopic.com. Both of them work.
Send us a fucking email.
Yes.
I want to see 6 in the inbox today.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. I was going to say, today might be a bit of a stretch because we're recording on Sunday. Nobody will hear this until tomorrow.
Or Tuesday.
Okay.
By Thursday or else.
Tuesday, then turn to Thursday. All right. So I think we should we talk about my vacation?
Sure.
I mean, so I went to Disney World, and I think
Wait, can we go back to the part where you were at the airport?
we could. But I mean, I think the potential comedy here, right? Just to let everyone know, like, don't tune out because you may be sort of not a Disney person either. Remember that Steve is not a Disney person.
It's not that I'm not a Disney person.
Okay.
It's just that I'm not into them being the conglomerate that they are.
All right. What about Comcast and NBC?
I
and
also
Universal?
don't like that.
Okay.
I don't want companies to own
But
all the things.
at a certain point, there are going to only be 2 or 3 companies that own everything.
Yeah, we don't want
So-
that, Chris.
But that I don't think we have any choice. I think that's just the way that it's going to work. So are you going to not like anything that any corporation owns?
Well, I mean,
it's already that way.
I've always had that kind of mindset. Like, and in fact,
I know that you've always had that mindset. So I didn't mean to say that you're changing. You are consistent in like that's your thing. So
I mean, like, there's only certain companies that I've sort of, and I'm always been critical of those companies. Like Nintendo, I've always been like on board with,
right,
despite them making shitty decisions,
yeah,
very often,
right. Okay, yeah. So anyway, just to make sure people don't tune out, I will be trying to be giddy about all the fun that I had, but Steve will provide the comic relief, I think, by
hey, we're all gonna get laid.
I wonder how many people do get laid at Disney outside of spring break. I mean, I know when I went,
You went on spring break?
One time, yeah. So I guess to provide some background, I have been to Disney World.
Chris was there with his beads.
No, I was there with my then girlfriend, now wife.
Oh, okay.
So
you had to keep the beads in your back pocket.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that she and I.
Excuse me, miss. And you would just dangle.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Steph and I had some sex while we were there back in the March of 1999. I'm pretty sure at least once. You know, we didn't have housemates like right down the hall. I mean, obviously there are other rooms on either side. We do have a terrible luck in terms of Steph getting her period while we're on vacation. So much so that like when we like as a couple now try to plan a date night, which is very infrequent for us as parents, I'm always like in the back of my mind trying to do some math going, all right, what are our chances that we're gonna go away, because and it's not just
there
me.
are apps, Chris. You don't have to do math,
but
like you can have like technology do it for you.
My wife is she'll be 44 this year. She is in what they call pre-menopause. Her cycle is fairly irregular.
We were going to talk about your vacation. Now you're talking about your wife's menstrual.
But what I'm saying is, so we back in the day, maybe we had a little bit less luck. We did fuck at least once in Disney World.
Oh, neat.
This time, absolutely not, because our children were, in the same room.
I'm very glad you didn't fuck with your children present.
Yeah. So no sex for us, but I wonder how many people, around us were maybe having the sex. It's
like it was, they were probably dressed up like the characters. Yuck.
Did you ever see? I mean, there's so many reasons I can't show this film to my kids. But do you ever see Zach Braff's second movie, not Garden State, but what the fuck was it called? I don't know. Josh Gad, who plays Olaf,
Yes.
is in this movie of Zach Braff's.
I think Josh Gad got famous because he was in the Book of Mormon.
Okay, yes. So Josh Gad is in this movie, and he's playing the sort of the brother who doesn't have his shit together, but then he gets a crush on the girl across the street, and she is interested in comic books, and they're going to go to the San Diego Comic-Con together. So Josh Gad starts sewing together a costume, and there is a scene in which Josh Gad, mostly in his full costume, and his lady friend, I think mostly in her full costume, are doing it doggy style in a hotel room, presumably near the San Diego Comic-Con. So I don't doubt that there are probably people, although adults cannot.
Did you have a glass up against the wall when everybody else went out? I'm just like, oh my god.
No, but I don't doubt that there might be people who fucking in costumes. But at Disney, you are not you are not allowed as an adult to enter the parks in costume.
And you're not allowed to grope the costumed actors.
I would assume that is. I don't know if that's actually like written down anywhere, but I assume
you would just say it goes without saying.
I'm pretty sure it goes without saying.
All right.
So
just in case one of our listeners is really dumb and going to Disney soon.
And I would say if you've ever seen pictures of people taken with the characters at Disney parks, it is abundantly clear that almost every single one of those people in the costumes is either female, because female human beings tend to be a little bit shorter, right? Or a very short man, because Mickey Mouse is not. I hate to spoil it for any kids out there listening to our podcast. Mickey Mouse is not a dude in there's not a dude inside that Mickey Mouse costume, because he is shorter than me, and I'm pretty short. So it could be a very short dude, but probably a lady dressed up as Mickey, or a short non-binary.
Somebody really loves sweating.
I've always wondered. Like, I know that they rotate pretty frequently. No, I don't think they wear the same costume. I think they
have their own costume.
I think there are so let's say you have Winnie the Pooh, right? So Winnie the Pooh, and sometimes Tigger, sometimes Eeyore,
sometimes Tigger too.
Sometimes Tigger too. They meet at a little stand right on the corner of Fantasyland and Tomorrowland, next to the Winnie the Pooh ride, the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and they rotate Winnie out of there. There's no chance in hell that it's the same Winnie that comes back. Right, so
I just needed some honey.
So a non costumed cast member at Disney will help guide Winnie out of the meet and greet area to a section behind the park, and
away from the Chinese.
And then very shortly thereafter, a cast member will bring Winnie back. And so I am pretty sure what is happening is that the person on deck, to use a baseball metaphor, as Winnie is sitting backstage
Winnie the
somewhere.
Pooh with a bat. with the weights on it, just like
Winnie the Pooh with a bat. Yeah, so I believe that they
just choking up on it a little bit.
I have a friend who used to do work,
play baseball in a costume.
She used to do work at Disney, and still does work at Universal Studios as one of their cast members, one of the dressed up individuals, and she would tell me things about that. But
we should have her on the show.
I probably could, but you know what? She probably is sworn to secrecy on some stuff.
And NDA signed and everything.
Probably, that these big corporations.
We could like put a little warbler on her voice?
Oh, we could.
So guess what? Chip and Dale were constantly butt fucking in the costumes.
So should I start with my first day?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Now we got about 20 minutes left. We were there for 7 days. We arrived from Boston late on our very first day, so woke up the next morning. The park was opening at 7 a.m.
That seems like a reasonable time.
Was it 7 or did it? They actually change it to 6? I don't know. They had it opening very early.
That would be perfect for people like me that are up.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're like, well, we might as well go to the park where everybody else is still in fucking bed.
Yeah. Well, so they have what's called early magic hours for people who are staying at the hotels. And we had scouted this out in advance. We had basically looked at like what days are things opening and plotted out our days. And so we got there early. We got there when it was still dark out. So our first pictures of the entire trip are of the Cinderella's castle, which is the centerpiece of the park, still lit up as if it were nighttime. So we walked in, we got to get those pictures first thing in the morning with almost nobody around, whereas typically you'd be getting them at the end of the night with like crowds and crowds of people sort of going around you. So that was really cool. But our plan, we are not necessarily what the fuck is the word for a person who does the opposite of what everyone else does?
Contrarian.
Yeah, we are not necessarily contrarians, but when you're going to a place like this, and it is going to be even more crowded than usual, I think you are wise to look at what is the path that most of the crowds take and go the other way.
So you're going to go to that Robert Frost poem?
You're going to take...
He was lying. He was fucking lying. He took the regular path.
I know that.
Okay.
People don't... Yeah, anyway. Yes. Have we talked about that?
I don't know.
I don't know that we should spend... But like, have you ever gone to Canopy or something?
Yes.
You because you go to Canopy typically around the same time every year.
Usually around the fall when they do their October stuff.
And is there like, have you learned over time, we're not going that way, we're going this way?
It's just weird because like it's been warmer the last couple of years,
mm-hmm.
and that has actually been a detriment.
Because more people are
there. Okay. Like I remember when I first moved to New Hampshire, mm-hmm. we went that day.
Yeah.
And like it was fucking cold that night. And like aside from a couple of the slightly long lines for the haunted like attractions and whatnot,
right, yeah.
It was pretty dead in there. And then, like by the end of the night we were just like we were huddled and we were huddled into, I think there was this bar near the Boston Tea Party area, mm-hmm. where it was just a colonial themed, and we were just kind of huddled in there having a couple of drinks and watching the Red Sox because that was the year they won the World Series.
Okay. Yep.
Prior to the last time they won the World Series.
So was that the 2011?
13.
No, 2013. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so the way that Disney World works, for those people who have never seen a map, is you sort of...
I've never seen a map. Please explain maps to me.
No, a map of Disney World.
Oh, okay.
So you go down Main Street, USA, which is modeled after Walt Disney's hometown. It's nice, cute little quaint storefronts and stuff like that. You head towards what is essentially the center of a wheel. That's right in front of Cinderella's castle.
Whoa, we should do that. We should open our own theme park and have it based about like Main Street USA is Chelmsford Center.
Oh, fuck, dude.
Like the classic like 5-way stop, no light.
Chicken corner. That's, oh my god. All right, we need to stop this talk about my vacation and start planning
our Chelmsford theme park. No, it'll be horribly off topic land.
Oh,
because it'll be based on us.
Right.
But because we're from this town or that town, we'll have to.
All right. We're gonna start planning horribly off topic land. I'm sorry, y'all don't want me to type, but I need to write this down.
I like horribly off topic world.
Horribly off topic.
Or should Will that be in Florida?
The Florida one will be world, and the California one will be land.
Can we have it in neither of those places?
Yes, we can. All right, so horribly off topic world. Well, so if we're going to model it off of Disney World, look at me trying to bring it back somehow. So you go up Main Street, which in our case would be modeled after the center of Chelmsford. You get to that center. Or no, I guess you'd need it to be. I don't know if it'd be North Road or if it'd be
This is not great. Like,
okay, whatever.
not too many people know the ins and outs.
But I really like this idea. We're gonna do this at some point. All right. So in Disney World, you get to the center in front of the castle. If you were to go straight through the castle, you would end up in what's called Fantasyland. You can also go to the right, sort of around the castle.
Not too close to my Fantasyland.
Wait, what?
That's a Ween song.
Oh, okay. If you go slightly to the right of the castle, you can go around the castle and get in to the part of Fantasyland where it abuts Tomorrowland, which is where Dumbo and Goofy have their rides. If you go directly to the right, you'll end up in Tomorrowland, which is where Space Mountain is, the roller coaster. You got things themed around Monsters, Inc. and Buzz Lightyear and shit like that. So most people tend to go one of those ways. They go straight up through the castle because they're trying to get to the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, which is by an hour into the park opening is a 2-hour wait for essentially a 3 to 5 minute ride. So most people are trying to get there, get into that line, and be able to get on it.
Do they have like the speed pass or fast pass?
They do have the fast pass, but those things tend to book up months in advance. So anyway,
it's just too stressful
for the holidays. But I am a master at this. My family did not wait in fucking maybe one long line the entire time. 2 long lines the entire 7 days we were there because I had planned out pretty carefully, which I can talk about a little bit. But
we could have a section of long line, long land.
Yes. At any rate, so our plan was to go to and then if they're not going to Seven Dwarfs, they're going to go to Space Mountain, which is the other big sort of roller coaster that the line gets long. Our plan had been to go to the left because we were like, nobody goes to the left. Our plan was dashed almost immediately because we went to the left and there were very friendly faces saying this part of the park doesn't open for another 2 hours. So when they do their quote unquote extra magic hours, they only open one half of the park. The other half of the park is closed. So our very well laid plans were out the window, and we then went over towards Space Mountain. And Tomorrowland, because we could go on one of the coolest rides that they have there, which is called Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin. And there are, I don't know what the ride at Canopy is that's like this. There's one at Santa's Village that's like this. It's where you're in a little cart and you've got a gun. And you're trying to shoot targets. There's a ride like that at Canopy, right?
I think there's a ride on the Golden Saucer that I mean, the remake's coming out. I mean, we won't get that part. I mean, I think the first part is Midgar, and then your brother probably doesn't want to. He doesn't listen to this anyway. So
anyway, so we got to go on Buzz Lightyear.
That's probably why it was postponed because your brother's not there anymore.
They need it. Nobody's there to do the work.
Yeah,
they let go of the one person to do the work. We can't get him in trouble. Sorry. Yeah.
How the fuck are they gonna like? I said your brother.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't say where.
I know.
I only made allusions.
The internet is super smart though. Anyway, so we went and we did that, and then Melody got to go on what turned out to be one of her favorite rides of the entire thing, which is the fucking Tomorrowland Speedway, which is, I don't know that Canopy has something like this. Maybe it does. It's, you get in a fucking car and you drive around in a circle. You're not really driving around in a circle. You do have a little bit more control over it, so there is a gas pedal, and you
control like Rhythm Nation.
Oh, don't get your Janet Jackson mixed up in front of me, boy.
All right.
So you get to drive, and we went on that, and she loved it. And the problem with Melody this whole time was when she loved something, especially if we did it early in the day, she was like, "I want to go on that again." And we'd be like, "All right, Melody, we went on it. We got here like first. We went on it and we didn't have to wait. We had to wait maybe 5-10 minutes. Now, when we get off the ride, it's 45 minutes. So, do you want to sit there for 45 minutes?" She's like, "No." It's like, "So try to come back later in the day will get a fast pass, which I can explain now if that would make sense.
Sure.
So a fast pass is a thing where you can skip the fucking line. Now,
How much does that cost?
If you have a ticket, it doesn't cost you anything.
You just have to book a time.
Yeah. So what happens is if you are staying at a Disney hotel, you can start booking them 60 days ahead of your trip. If you're not staying at a Disney hotel, you can start booking them 30 days ahead of your trip. Now you get 3 you can book in advance, and then once you use those 3, you can book one at a time the whole rest of the day. And that is maybe a part that people don't know. So our whole...
You spilled the beans, Chris. Now the next time you go, like there's going to be hundreds of thousands of people there fucking booking all your goddamn ride times.
Well, people know it, but they don't know enough to play with it and keep trying. So what I would end up doing is we would use that third one, right? And the moment that you have these things called magic bands, if you stay at the park, and you have just like a credit card kind of ticket if you don't stay at... magic band if you stay at a Disney hotel, like a credit card kind of ticket if you don't. When you tap either that magic band or that card to the little turnstile, as soon as you do that on your third one, you can start booking your next one. Now,
is there like an app?
There's an app on your phone. So I pull up the app on my phone.
There's also the Menzies app that you should get to.
Yes, but we already talked about that. My wife's a little regular now. So you open up that app and you start looking for the thing you want. The trick is if you see the thing you want at any time the rest of the day, especially if it's a rare thing, you tap on it, you grab the thing. So let's say it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and we really want to ride that fucking that racing thing again because Melody wants to ride it. So I look for that anytime the rest of the day, and maybe I find it and it's not till 9 o'clock that night. Well, that's not going to fucking work because I'm not going to wait to you because I only get to book one of these at a time now. So
you want to have it be something close to when you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in time.
So what you do is you tap on the 9 o'clock one, right? And it reserves the 9 o'clock for you. Then, especially if your family is kind of just, you're not talking. If it's a moment that you're kind of not chatting with each other, and you can fiddle with your phone, then it's perfect because what the fuck else are you gonna do? Check fucking Twitter? So
I mean, it's perfect for getting your head to want to explode.
Which I didn't want to do when I was on vacation. So I would sit there and I would hit refresh a bunch, and so maybe I'd find one that was 8:15, and I'd grab that one. So then my 9 o'clock goes back into the queue. Somebody else who wants 9 o'clock can get it. So on 8:15, I keep refreshing, which is really just tapping. It's like a fucking video game.
Yeah, one that you're good at.
And I'm really, you joke, but I'm fucking great at this. They could not believe the shit that I was able to get. Stephanie would be like, the whole fucking 7 days, she'd be like, how the fuck she doesn't swear, but she'd be like,
she didn't swear.
She doesn't really swear. She'd be like, how did you do that? I was like, I'm just sitting here. It's like, you were still talking to us. I'm like, yeah, I figured out how to just like fucking, So anyway, so we did the stuff over there, and then when the left side of the park opened, we went over to the left side of the park and we went on the Jingle Cruise, which they had it's usually the Jungle Cruise, but they rethemed it
because you went around Christmas.
We went around Christmas time, and the Jungle Cruise is famous for, I think it's David Sedaris. I might be wrong. There's some of these like. You wouldn't call David Sedaris a comedian. So
he's a humorist.
Right. So some of these very famous humorists out there, and maybe a few comedians, got their start as skippers on the Jungle Cruise. And if you get a good skipper on the Jungle Cruise, I mean, so the Jungle Cruise is basically unchanged.
Say Jungle Cruise again. They speak English in Jungle Cruise.
It's probably unchanged since like the 70s when it first opened. And so when it first opened, I don't think they had the dry humor and the really terrible puns and whatever. They probably treated it like you were actually going, into the jungle. now, because they actually have fucking safaris at one of their other park, now they treat this as kind of,
tongue in cheek.
And we had a great skipper. She made us all laugh. Made me laugh more than anybody because.
But Chris, women aren't funny.
I didn't know that. I guess that.
There was a I'm obviously making a joke, but there was a documentary a couple years ago that Bonnie McFarlane made. I think it was called "Women Aren't Funny."
Yeah,
but it was just
interesting.
It was basically like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Right. Yeah.
But there was she got some people that were like totally adamant that women aren't funny, and then she was like, what? Yeah.
Well, so I mean, I'm not going to go through every ride and every day, but that was sort of like the pattern that it took, because we'd have a certain plan for the morning, and then the rest of the day would kind of be dictated by what did people want to do. And I actually, one of the reasons I loved the vacation so much is we joke like it was a video game that I'm good at. Like, I'm actually pretty fucking good at Disney World.
All right.
And it's hard for me to say I'm good at anything. So like I felt in command. The last time we'd gone was with 7 of us, with my brother and my parents as well, and we'd done a pretty good job. But we had me and my dad and my brother, who all kind of, I think to some extent, want to be in charge, and then especially me and my brother, because at that point he had like a Disneyland annual pass, so he was pretty fucking good at Disney too. So
I think he might have mastered Disney.
Yeah, so 7 of us was a little bit more challenging. Now it's just the 4 of us, and my family is quite content to let me just be the one playing the fucking video game with the app. So
you're like that game that like Jerry was popping balloons in Rick and Morty.
Yeah. So I think,
spoilers if you haven't watched that episode.
I haven't watched that episode, so thanks for spoiling it for me. No, so we
Jerry.
We did the Magic Kingdom, which is the main park on the first day. The next 2 days were pretty fucking rainy, and that was probably the only thing to complain about. Look at me trying to fit everything into the last 3 minutes of the fucking show.
Why don't we just we could talk about it again next week?
Okay, all right. So we'll see. We had a grand old time that first day, and that was exactly what I wanted.
Did you have a gay old time?
We might have had a gay old time.
All right.
No Flintstones ride to have a gay old time on, but
was there one at like Universal or something like that? Maybe when that movie came out with John Goodman and Rick Moranis.
I wouldn't doubt it if there was. The Universal Studios,
and they got the ladies wrong. I think.
Oh, who were the ladies in that one?
Betty Rubble was always more attractive than Wilma.
Yeah, but who? I'm trying to remember.
It was Rosie O'Donnell as.
Oh fuck yeah, you're right. Who was playing Wilma though?
I forget the actor's name, but she.
Yeah, that was a really weirdly casted.
No, but she was fine. But like Betty Rubble needed to be hotter.
Yeah. I mean, Rosie's hot in her own way.
Oh yeah. I'm sure that her wife thinks so.
I'm trying to think of so I have this list of shit that we plan to do, and then I started writing a list of what we actually did, and now I can't fucking remember what we actually did.
I remember. Don't worry.
You have any questions for me about Disney World?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot?
Put you on the spot. You go ahead.
I don't care.
I know you don't care, but this is my way of filling a minute and a half of time is by asking you if you have any particular questions about my I want you to pretend to be interested in my vacation.
I did that for the last half hour. I need to ask a fucking question now.
I did not pull the sword out of the stone. That's one thing.
Is that a thing that could be done?
Yes, you can. There's a behind the carousel at the Magic.
No, but I mean, is it possible?
Yes.
Okay.
But what they do is they tend to wait for a little kid, and I don't know whose. It's hard to imagine, like, where is the sight line? Like, where is the button that somebody presses? That
Maybe I should go there and shave so I look like a little kid again.
so you can try to pull the sword out of the stone.
Be like, who is this handsome young man?
Oh,
He's
I
probably King Arthur.
I think we should let him pull the sword out. Yeah, no, it's
Just pull it out and start running away with it.
I don't think it comes that far out.
Oh, okay.
I think you start to be able to pull it out. Probably some fucking music plays. I did not get to see it.
It's like doodle doodle doodle. It's Zelda.
Ah, right. Yeah, exactly like that. They're gonna have Universal is getting Nintendo Land.
World. Super
Nintendo World.
Super Nintendo.
Something like that.
Sega Genesis.
I just hope that they take over. I don't know if they're. Oh, maybe they're doing a new fucking park. I don't know. The Marvel fan in me wants Universal to figure out some other fucking thing. Where is GarageBand? I'm just trying to get back there. Marvel fan in me wants Universal Studios to figure out some fucking thing to put in place of their existing Marvel park, so that Disney can actually like do a full-on fucking Marvel section.
Yeah, they can they gobble it all up.
They already own fucking.
I know, they need to gobble it up.
They already fucking own
Gobble
Marvel.
up all the balls.
Universal's got a shitty looking Marvel land.
Yeah.
And because why? I can't even fucking figure it out. It's like they don't get to update any of the graphics or the images.
Graphics? Are you telling me these are good graphics?
It looks like the fucking crappy 90s version of all of the characters. It's fucking terrible. They should
do what Six Flags does and just make the shitty 90s Superman or Batman ride.
Well, I guess. No,
I can't wait for the new Joker ride.
Oh, yeah.
Would you just fall down the stairs?